huge, huge challenge with this schedule. Three BCS games. Seven games on the road. Only 3 teams in the entire FBS were faced with that task of finishing 4 or 5 on the road.
Eastern, first game of the season, in-conference game. You usually don't start with a conference opponent in your first game. It was a big statement game for us.
From kickoff to the end of the game, the Cardinals were prepared for Eastern Michigan. It was a hard-fought battle throughout the game, but the Cardinals came out on top.
It was great to start the season off with a win and build some momentum with 3 BCS games after that Eastern Michigan game.
I can remember our game plan being physicalness and beat them to the punch that week.
We try to focus on each game individually, one at a time, and know that they're all really, really important. And it all doesn't always go according to plan, but obviously that first game of the year is something that we take a great deal of pride in winning.
A week later, the victory was short-lived. Ball State faced the Tigers of Clemson. The Tigers took a 13-0 lead and continued to expose the Cardinals' flaws.
Well, part of life in the MAC is that you have to play some games against high-profile opponents on the road.
We couldn't get the ball rolling, so as an offense, that's hard. The passing game, we couldn't get nothing rolling. We couldn't get the run game, pass game, so shoot, it just limited us. What we could do.
I strongly believe that they were a good football team. Great athletes, great quarterback, great skill position. On the defensive side of the ball, they're pretty good and things like that. But we did a lot of things that shot ourselves in the foot that game.
For us, the benefit of going to Clemson was that we recruit the Carolinas heavily. I had spent 5 years there prior to coming to Ball State. We have a couple starters already in our lineup from the Carolinas. We've got several verbal commitments right now from the Carolinas. So there was some good visibility associated with going to play at Clemson, good exposure for our program. Obviously, there's a revenue component for our athletic department playing against a top 15 type program like Clemson.
Stepping into Memorial Stadium in Bloomington to face in-state rivals Indiana University, the stadium holds memories for the Cardinals. Memories of a life changed. In an instant, Dante Love suffered a career-ending injury, and the Cardinals' chance for perfection was in jeopardy.
But certainly as the minutes turned into 10 minutes and 15 minutes, and we were right there, we certainly knew that, you know, they were taking every precaution, which sports medicine today, they're so well versed in how to do that, but didn't know at that time, you know, the extent of the injury. You know, at first it takes everybody a while to realize what happened, but when a player doesn't get up and the medical staff surrounds them like that and stays on top of them, then I think everybody has a pretty good understanding of this is serious. And so it became a very quiet crowd.
Dante Love goes down, and you know he's not moving, and you know that's one of the things that I don't think I'll ever forget about college football.
Even going back and watching it on tape, it was just two helmets collided at just the wrong angle.
We all wrote him a letter. Each and every one of the players wrote him a letter, and I think they made him a book for him. I can actually remember writing that in my dorm room.
Ball State would go on to win the game and also be undefeated in the regular season.
It was a bittersweet kind of thing, you know. We won the game. We were very, very excited, but you know, we came back here and we were all, you know, very, very sad about what happened to Dante.
For Dante Love, he would never play the game again, but he would be walking. History has shown that this is a difficult task. IU put up a good fight, but it all came down to Stephen Schott. But the Cardinals were victorious and injury-free in another classic showdown.
Believe it or not, I don't give it a whole lot of thought when Stephen Schott goes out there on the field. The typical thing I say to him is it's just another day at the office. So I had a tremendous amount of confidence when he went out there to kick the game winner.
I thought we did some things well against IU, but we also did some things bad. And when I say that, that's where that whole idea of bending but don't break comes into play.
The first 3 games were a tough fight. But the next 7 would be even more of a challenge. Throughout the rest of the season, the Cardinals fought through many tough battles.
some of the conference wins that we had, our team was building momentum and confidence in a very subtle, in a very humble kind of way.
For the Cardinals, the next 2 games foreshadow how the rest of the season will go.
I really thought he was going to walk in the end zone because I didn't see the safety. I threw it too high. He had to jump for the ball and then messed up his ankle. When he was rolling around on the ground, it looked weird at first. It looked like he was celebrating, but I went over there and I seen him screaming. I'm like, oh shoot, it's bad.
When he went down, it was a little quiet. Things did get a little shaky and things like that, but I had no doubt in my mind that Kelly wasn't going to come in and produce.
When I saw Keith go down, I knew that I had to step up in some kind of way, whether it was just going to be to hand the ball off to Horatio and Jawan, 30 times. In 2009, I wasn't ready. I didn't play very well at all. And then we played against Bowling Green, and I think late in the second half, I hit my hand on a helmet, and it kind of cracked the bone in my hand and in my thumb, and actually tore a couple ligaments in my thumb as well. So that put me out for the rest of the season.
After 2 years without playing time, Kelly Page steps in to make the victory over Ohio even more memorable.
Like I said, he's a veteran quarterback. He's been in the system and things like that. He knows the system well. It was no doubt in my mind that he was going to get the job done.
I think it was a blessing actually that I didn't have time to actually think about it before I had to go in. I actually just like getting kind of thrown into the fire sometimes. Just go out there and do what you have to do.
Our guys' physical conditioning and the relative health of our team heading into that game allowed us to really finish the game strong. And we played a great fourth quarter against Ohio, probably one of the best that we've had in 2 years here. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of guys to injury in that game and went into the Miami game a week later with really almost a revamped lineup.
Final game of the regular season against Miami had Ball State aiming for the most wins since 2008. The Cardinals showed how well they could perform when fourth-string walk-on quarterback Kyle Kamen stepped in.
I feel like, we came out, we were playing pretty well. We were throwing the ball quite a bit. I think I had 20 passing attempts in the first half, so I don't think we really changed our, philosophy or game plan just because, I was going into play. I run the ball more, and that kind of puts me in jeopardy sometimes, to be able to get injured and stuff like that. But, injuries like that happen. I kind of got hit in the back of the head and the back of the helmet, and I'm pretty sure I blacked out for a little bit, but I'm not positive. But those kind of things happen, and like I did with Keith, Kyle Kamen had to come in and step up, and I feel like he did a great job.
Well, you can imagine what was going through Kyle Kamen's mind when he gets put in the Miami game, getting his first college experience with an awful lot on the line. But again, he was prepared. Rich Skrosky, our offensive coordinator, did a great job preparing him and sort of toning down the package to make sure that he could manage it. But Kyle was ready to go, and Kyle was almost anticipating that this could happen. And to his credit, he finished off the game, and we got win number 9. Last night when we got the announcement about being selected to the Beef O'Brady's Bowl, and there was an awful lot of excitement and satisfaction and sense of fulfillment with our team and our staff. We're talking about something that's only been done a handful of times in the history of this program. Now, the thing that's never been done in the history of this program is to win a bowl game. Your question doesn't bother me, but before we got here, we'd never coached at the FBS level. Well, we got here, and guess what? The field's still 100 yards long, and I think we've proven that we can coach at the FBS level. Once the program was built up to a certain point recently, it sort of fell off a cliff. Now we've had to build it back up. A 9-3 season and 2 BCS wins, and wins over a nationally ranked team, and wins over top programs like Ohio, and now an opportunity to go to a game like this. It's not going to be easy. The challenge is a tremendous one, but that's why you play the game. This is what it's all about, folks. This is college football.
For Ball State Sports Link, I'm Ben Johnston.